Near the Belgian town of Ypres, you are standing in a freezing, muddy trench. Suddenly, the enemy artillery stops. The battlefield falls entirely silent until the wind shifts, carrying a sweet, metallic smell of pineapples and bleach. A dense, unnatural yellow-green fog creeps over the cratered dirt. It rolls toward the Allied lines like a living 100-foot wall. As the gas spills into the trenches, soldiers quickly realize they are drowning from the inside out. Chlorine reacts with the moisture in human lungs to form hydrochloric acid. Within minutes, 5,000 men are dead. The man observing this slaughter through his binoculars is wearing a German uniform, but he holds no standard military rank. He is a chemist. This officer had recently stabilized the world's food supply through a breakthrough in agriculture. Now he was applying that same industrial chemistry to the production of mass casualties. Before the First World War, human population growth had rapidly outpaced the Earth's natural soil. The world's agricultural reserves were failing, and scientists predicted imminent mass global starvation. This chalkboard diagram outlines his solution. Haber pulled nitrogen directly from the atmosphere, binding it with hydrogen to synthesize ammonia. Turning this into fertilizer, he synthesized bread from thin air, providing the foundation for our modern food supply. His work earned him the Nobel Prize and a reputation as the man who saved the world from a Malthusian collapse. Even today, the Haber-Bosch process produces the fertilizer that feeds half the people on Earth. When fighting broke out in 1914, Haber saw an opportunity to prove his loyalty to the German Empire. He set his civilian agricultural work aside and demanded a military commission. He returned to his laboratory and reviewed the chemical reactions he used to grow crops. He isolated the heavy, toxic chlorine byproducts of his research and found they were heavy enough to sink into deep enemy trenches. Germany's fertilizer factories were quickly converted. The same steel pressure tanks that produced life-saving ammonia were now churning out thousands of tons of liquefied poison. Haber established a specialized military unit, the Pioneer Regiment, personally training frontline soldiers on how to read wind patterns and deploy the Gauss cylinders for maximum effect. The same chemical principles used to fertilize crops now dictated the lethal concentration needed to clear an enemy trench. His wife, Clara Immerwahr, was the first woman in Germany to earn a doctorate in chemistry. She watched her husband's work with horror, publicly denouncing his weapons research as a perversion of the field. Haber ignored her. On May 1, 1915, he hosted a champagne-fueled dinner party at their Berlin villa to celebrate his promotion to captain, following the success at Ypres. Late that night, while the celebration continued downstairs, Clara walked out into the garden. She took Haber's military service weapon, aimed it at her own chest, and pulled the trigger. Clara died in the arms of their teenage son. The next morning, Haber packed his bags and boarded a train to the Russian front to oversee another gas attack. He did not stay for her funeral. Haber's laboratory was now effectively a department of the War Ministry. He had transitioned from a man of science into an instrument of the state. Years later, the political landscape of Germany shifted violently. The Nazi Party took power in 1933 and began purging Jewish citizens from civil service and academic institutions. Despite Haber's conversion to Christianity and his decades of military service, the regime ordered him to fire all his Jewish staff. When Haber refused, he was stripped of his titles and forced to flee the country. The state he weaponized the air to protect had designated him an enemy. Haber died of heart failure in a Swiss hotel shortly after his exile. But his laboratory had left behind a cyanide-based agricultural pesticide used to kill insects in grain silos, known as Zyklon A. The Nazis found Haber's pesticide formula, removed the warning odor, and stabilized it into pellets. They renamed it Zyklon B. This was the chemical agent deployed in the gas chambers at Auschwitz and Majdanek. When the Holocaust began, the industrial killing machine utilized Zyklon B to murder over 1 million people. Among those locked inside the chambers were Haber's own nieces, nephews, and close friends. The gas Haber's laboratory designed for agriculture became the instrument used to kill his own relatives. He had set in motion a process that eventually reached back to claim his own family.